I called him at work because I couldn't figure out. I was about to try to pull cell phone records. I was like, did he call this chick, Tiffany?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Mom's View. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
How are you guys doing this week?
Good color panel.
I know, right? We got a little blue, black, a little black and blue.
Yes, black and blue.
How's everybody feeling? Anybody have any fun updates? Kaylee, Angel, Colette,
Well,
Carly?
you know, last month was Black History Month. I'm not sure if you all knew that.
I knew that.
It was. And being that I'm black on my channel, we
You're
did.
black on your channel?
Yes, not here at the Mom's View. Not here. None of that. Only on that chick Angel. If you need some blackness, go over there. So, anywho, I with the new backdrop that Kaylee built for me on her channel.
Oh, wait a second. I did not build it. Angel built it. I said, hey, I have this idea. And then Angel was like, let me do that.
I didn't want her to strain herself.
Thank goodness.
I didn't want her to strain herself, but I decorated it, my new backdrop, so no longer a shower curtain. Thank you. And I put all these beautiful black actresses in the back from back in the day. And I said to my subscribers, if you can name all these people, I'll give you a shout out on TMV. So I want to give a shout out to Miss Peyton Kaylee, who got almost all of them right.
Nice.
And she's only 17 years old. And I was just like, I was so amazed. Like, she knew who Hattie McDaniels was. She was the first African-American woman to win an Oscar. So I'm just so impressed that this young lady knew almost all those people. So thanks, girl, and thanks for tuning in.
Good for you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Do you do anything special for Black History Month? Other than have people guess famous black celebrities?
Well, you know, that's usually what I do. No, I always do something like either I'm trying to, in social media, put out different facts, Black History facts, and now that my son is a little bit older and can retain a little more information, we're going to be, we went to the California African American Museum, which is down by USC, so to have that resource here is great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just, you know, focusing on that and teaching him more about his heritage, because they don't do a very good job in the educational system.
Do you have a favorite classic kind of black movie that you like to watch?
Ooh, Spike Lee School Days. Yes.
Cool.
So if you haven't watched it, watch
I
it.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Singing, dancing in it, I love it.
Well, there's a bunch of newer movies like The Butler. I watched that one recently.
really
Like
like
that
that
one's amazing.
Yeah, it really
Such
is.
a good movie.
It really,
and
really
it's so weird because like I didn't realize like you kind of grow up just knowing, oh yeah, the blacks are free and segregation is over, but like that's something that was really recent.
Yeah, it's very
so
much
recent.
so recent. More recent than what
But
people
not
really
in my
recognize.
lifetime, but you know what I mean? Like so recent.
But people who are alive, well, not as far as in slavery, but people who are alive in their lifetime. My mother went through the Jim Crow South and segregation, civil rights, all that stuff. So yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, The Butler is a good movie. Oprah and what's his name, Forrest Whitaker did a great
Yeah,
job.
he did an amazing job.
I have to watch it now.
like that.
Red box.
That's a good one.
Carly, any updates with you?
Yeah. Steve moved to Pocatello. So we can be closer. And he's renting out the bottom of the frat house for my parents. Like, you are a good man. My parents had a frat house. Like, my dad was in a frat. No, I'm just kidding. My dad went into this real estate adventure of his life, and he bought like a frat house out of Idaho State University.
Oh, cool.
And the frat was renting it for my dad. It was just like this income for the real estate, whatever inquiry he was doing on the side. And then it ended up falling through, and they didn't want to buy it from him. So then my dad just had this massive house. It's like almost 6,000 square feet. Just
wow.
a frat house.
Yeah.
They ended up moving into it.
Yeah, they ended up moving into
Which
it. I'm
was
sure in the
awesome
vlog.
when we were all visiting.
Yeah, we all had our own
their
room. Own wing of the house.
Wow.
But my dad created a basement apartment, and that was open. And I told Steve we couldn't live together before we married. So I said, you can live there, or you can look for somewhere else. My parents will make the rent cheaper. So he made the move, and hopefully this will speed things up or
Where
not.
did
We'll
he
see.
move from?
Boise, which is Boise, Idaho. It's both in Idaho, but it was like 3.5, 4 hours away.
Oh, cool.
So it'll give us time to work on things and see what happens.
Well, congrats. That's a huge,
Thank you.
exciting thing
He's
going on in
that
your
was
life.
good of him. I'm proud of him.
You guys are
Thanks,
a very
Boo-boo.
good-looking couple. Yeah.
Thank you. I try to
Barbie
keep.
and
I
Ken.
try to
They're
keep up with
seriously
him.
Barbie and Ken. Oh my God. You guys just like stare at each other and just like lift weights and eat chicken.
No, I'm like, are you kidding me? He's the one that's like up in the morning, and I'm like, can we have pancakes for breakfast? I'm gonna go do my morning cardio, babe. I'm like, have fun with that.
Have fun.
You get it,
Good
boo boo.
Any updates with you, Missy?
Oh, you know how I'm feeling.
Making a baby.
Yeah, just making a baby. Things are going good. I'm feeling much better.
Yeah.
Trying to get ready for this baby and babysitting a little bit, which has been nice. I got to babysit the baby. And I was like, okay, I think I remember how to do this. I think I'm going to be okay. Because it's nerve-wracking. It's like being a first-time mom again.
Yeah. Ugh.
So,
Sure, it's like, oh,
yeah, but then it's surprising how it just comes to you and you just like know what to do.
I hope I have some instincts that'll just kick in.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
You will, for
I'm
sure.
banking on that.
Are you
Because
all
I don't know anything.
It's all good. None of us did either.
Yeah.
Are you all getting excited about your baby shower?
So excited. Yes, I feel very spoiled and lucky, and I'm just really, really excited. And like I keep saying, it's so fun to go through this with you, Kayli.
Yeah.
It's really, really special. And I just feel really lucky that I have all you guys to share all this with too. But it's just fun to be pregnant with somebody else who's pregnant, you know?
It is.
that is like you guys can like text and be like, are you feeling awful? Like, oh,
And we're so close together, like 2 weeks exactly. Like that's pretty lucky.
Yeah, so I have like 10 weeks. Sharzi has 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We're getting
geez.
so
That
close.
baby is here.
It's gonna be
Wow.
here before we know it.
wow.
I can't wait. All right, ladies. So we're going to talk about love, trust, relationships, and we get a lot of comments from you guys asking to discuss this topic on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we love that. So we're here to make you guys happy and talk about everything love and relationships and trust. So we actually have a viewer who wants to know about long distance relationships. I've been in one. Angel, you were in one. Carly, you've probably kind of dealt with this a little bit because your man goes on the road a lot.
Yeah, lots.
So we're going to dive in and talk about how we deal with that.
Yes.
So, well, as you guys may or may not know, Michael and I did long distance for like a year. And we did LA, Chicago. And, you know, that can seem really, really far. It can seem really easy and fun and romantic depending on how you look at it. But one thing that really worked for us was to always have our next date planned of when we would see each
Smart.
other.
Like you can look forward to that.
Exactly, because if you don't have anything to look forward to, you kind of start to doubt, like, where is this going to go? When are we going to see each other? What, you know, how serious is this? Whatever. So we made it a point to make sure that we had it in the books, flight booked, you know, everything set. I'm going to see you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And then it can be kind of fun to like look forward to seeing that person. You know, you like get in really good shape those 2 weeks. You drink a lot of water. You try and just like be the best you. And then you have this like amazing, explosive,
Plan out
like
your outfit.
totally plan out your outfits. Yeah. So how do you guys? Have you ever had any?
Yeah, actually, Casey and I, when I was still in high school, so
Yeah.
I was really young, but we went a year long distance.
That's right.
And only really saw each other like 3 times in that period of time.
Okay.
But it was the best thing for our relationship because we didn't see each other, so we were communicating on the phone, we were communicating through letters, and we really, really needed that because I'm shy, and so when we were dating, I was always like, hi. And so it was really good for our relationship, and I actually loved it.
Yeah. It's nice to kind of break out of the traditional communication, like in terms of just talking and, you know, write a letter. I mean, I didn't write a letter to Michael, but we wrote emails and stuff like that.
For a while, that was our only communication, was writing letters.
That's really sweet.
And that was the best. So I really recommend that if you're in a long distance relationship, even if you have other forms of communication, to write a letter. And you know, you can
The
you
day
can
you get the
tell
letter in the
someone
mail,
so
you're like,
much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
money.
Oh, there's nothing better than getting a letter in the mail. So
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cute. Was he on his mission then?
he was on a mission for a while, and then he went and Shay and Casey sold pest control in Texas, and boy, did they get in shape while they were there.
Wait, really?
She's like, yeah, they
And they
did.
like whiten their teeth. They went tan. They did all these things that my brothers made fun of all the other guys doing. I saw a picture of them. I'm like, what are my brothers
We got
doing?
off the plane, and I remember I saw Casey, and I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was just like, what? Because it was before like you sent selfies to each other or anything, so we had not seen them. I had no clue what he looked like, and I was just like,
Was this pre-marriage or after
yeah,
marriage?
it was before
Okay.
we were
Yeah.
married.
Yeah, I remember that trip because Shay was, well, they were gone for about 6 months. And I was stuck back in Pocatello and I was working at a restaurant and I was eating all the food in the world. So I had gained weight.
Oh, no.
And so we go to visit them. I don't remember when we went. Like,
It was right after I graduated. It was like a day,
it was-
the day after I graduated, so the end of May.
it was before they got home, like 3 months before they came home. And we go and we're like getting off the plane, we're looking for them, and Shay comes up behind me and like hugs me, and at first I was like, oh, and I turned and I looked at him, I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? It did not look like him.
Yeah,
He
they
had
looked
lost so
so
much
different.
weight. He was super tan, and his teeth were like sparkly. And I was just like,
I remember they called me and asked me how to use a tanning bed. I'm like, what the hell are you two doing getting in a tanning bed? You're in Texas.
It was so insane. They
the sun is
they
there.
changed, and the way they were like, they cared so much about what they were wearing.
Oh, wow.
It was like, who are these boys?
In like a good way?
it was great. Yes.
She was like, I'm not complaining.
I mean, I love all the different sides of Casey, of course, but that was a fun surprise.
That's hysterical.
I remember
And
just
then
feeling
Braylee
like,
came a
shoot.
couple months later.
I was like, we're not talking about that.
Sorry, Colette, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just thinking, I remember I was like, I should have lost weight. Because I had gained like 20 pounds.
Oh, but you
And
guys still
You
no, I'm going to
are
find a
always
picture,
tiny.
and you guys are going to see.
I
and
was
you're gonna
there,
go, yeah,
and
she's
no,
right.
she was
I
no.
know, but it's not fair because Colette, like, don't take this wrong. You were bigger before you had
I
kids.
was.
Who does that? And then every kid you have, you get smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm like, you want a weight loss plan? Have a kid.
This little tiny thing though, you can't be.
Yeah, you never have looked big, but
Big.
you were before, like, yeah. You were fat before,
double
but
it.
now you're so skinny.
Well, I had like my baby face.
Oh yeah, you were still young.
But I
We
honestly,
were
once
super
I show you
young.
the picture, then you'll get it.
Okay, I want to see
Anyway.
this.
I have
I'm
a
like,
picture.
what is
Yeah, like
this?
Kaylee said,
Anything.
she could never look big.
No,
Ever.
not at all.
Eat all the chocolate you want.
It's totally good.
Anyway, so long distance was
Yes.
fun. Yeah, it was really fun.
Angel,
Tangent.
I know you guys did like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it was like 2 years of
my
long distance because I was
LA, Kentucky? Or?
Okay. Well, Orange County, Kentucky. So we were far apart. We didn't start dating until I moved out here. So our whole relationship was long distance. Yeah. And we would see each other maybe every 2 months.
Okay.
It was definitely like, but typically, I mean, I would be so on fire to see him by the time we would just be like, It was really, or there would be times where I remember one time we went 2.5 months, and that was bad because then we were at each other's throats. We were just so mad at each other.
Right.
It was just like it had just been so long. I think it was over the phone we kept arguing with each other. And
It's
then
like
finally
you're
we pulled
fighting
the
and you
trigger.
don't know what you're fighting
Yes,
about.
we
You're
were
like,
just so upset, and it was just because we hadn't seen each other. Yeah, it was. But I was like, enough is enough. When I got to grad school, I was like, now look here, now I'm gonna need you to pack up your stuff and bring yourself on out here. But it was a great. We really got a chance to really know each other because all we had was talking. We couldn't just depend on sitting and being in silence with each other. Either we were talking or we weren't, communicating at all. So it was a good time. It really, really was. But it was also took some time to get used to then being around each other all the time.
I think there comes two elements with the long distance relationship. For me and Steve, we noticed that when we did get to see each other, it was like Disneyland for grown-ups, like so lovey and these romantic dates, and we both tried really hard. So then when we were like together longer than like 3 or 4 days, it was like we got to get back to real life. We got to like do things and be productive. And it was kind of hard because you don't see each other for so long, so you just want to spend every together. But it's like it was hard for us to get onto a schedule and to get out of each other's face and stop making out because we got to get the things done. So that was hard for us to like. And then we started the little fighting like. I don't know what it is about him, but he does not know how to shut a cupboard. I'm like, look, it opens and look, it can close. So like things like that in my kitchen, just like little nitpicky things like just getting used to one another. But also knowing your languages of love, I think can really help and benefit a relationship, knowing how to make your significant other feel loved by, serving their love language. And mine and Steve are both quality time and physical touch. So long distance for us was something that we finally were like, if we're gonna make this work, we've got to get closer together because we started fighting about such silly things, social media, I mean, just very like non-important things. And so when we were like just spending time together, and I noticed like both of our love tanks felt full because that's how we respond. My little love tank
so cute.
was full.
Real Housewives of Orange County. Vicky Gunderson, she said that she kept saying her love tank was empty. Sorry.
It's a 5 or 7.
Five.
Five
love
love
languages. Yeah.
5'7".
Tank is
She's like, I got 2 extra ones.
I like that.
It's really good. Yeah.
It is.
That is, it's good to fill up on the love tank.
There was one time where we got to spend the summer with each other, me and Marcus did, and that also really helped solidify, yep, this is going to work. We did get like a period of time to just really be in each other's space before he moved out to California. So that helped us a lot before, because I was engaged to him by the time he moved out here. So I'm glad we did have that one summer so that I didn't get engaged to someone that I did not know how it was going to be if we were around each other for a long, extended period of time.
Yeah.
Because that would have been horrible.
Yeah.
So what advice would you guys give to people that are going through a long distance relationship that have like those times where they're just like fighting?
I think like being in a long distance relationship, it really kind of forces you to like lay out your relationship on the table. Like,
Right.
are we gonna really do this? And if so, who's gonna make the move? You know, am I moving to you? Are you moving to me? Who's gonna kind of give that, the city that they live in up? Or, you know, because ultimately somebody's gonna have to make the change unless you're Bill and Juliana Rancic and you can live in both places at once and make that work. But I mean, realistically, you need to bring that up before you want to get too far invested of like, okay, are you gonna, like for Michael and I, we talked about it really early on. And we knew where we stood with each other really early on, which made the long distance totally okay and actually really romantic and a very special time in our, you know, relationship. But he was the one willing to move to California. And that's why it worked for us. I did end up spending almost a year in Chicago. He pulled a fast one on me. Once he gave me the ring, he's like, by the way, I need another year before I can make it out there. And I was like, what? But it worked out and it ended up being fine. And that was a compromise I was happy to make for him. I could give him a year in Chicago if he could give me forever in California. But those things needed to be addressed pretty early on for us. So I think like, not being afraid to talk about where you see the relationship going. Of course, I was in my mid-20s, he was in his mid-30s, so we were okay talking about that. If you're in your early 20s or something, I don't know, you got to feel it out and see if this is the person that you want to be with. But we were really open right up front. And ultimately, I mean, he's the one that sacrificed the city that he lives in, and I'm really thankful for that. And California is better. Just kidding. I love Chicago. I go there all the time. I love Chicago. It's my second home. That in the Bay Area. Okay, I have 3 homes. So anyway.
If I could give any 2 points, I think out of all the things I've been through in a relationship, it's to overly communicate and to stop playing games and never, but like that kind of comes with it's never fair to assume how somebody's feeling. And so I think with Steve and I was like, well, he tweeted this or he said this or he hasn't texted or called, like especially when we were distance, it's probably because of this reason. So I was assuming things that he wasn't even thinking or feeling. And I think men are really a lot more simple than we give them credit for in a good way. And I think they're very compartmentalists, kind of. They like to put things into boxes. Women, all of our boxes are open and everywhere. But men are like, I'm going to do this, okay, close the box, put it away. I'm going to do this, close the box, put it away. And I think that all men literally do have a box where they just have nothing in it and they need to open it and just have nothing, like watching TV, talking about sports, just like having that time. And I think women were just always like, I need to feel this and know this, and all of our things are everywhere. And so as a woman, we have to communicate that. Because to me, I was like, I can't tell him I feel that way. I don't want to feel needy or attached or this or that. And I think when Steve and I learned to, no matter what, we just tell each other everything. No matter if you feel petty or whiny, you just have to over-communicate. Then it was easier for him to start to understand me and who I was and what I was needing, vice versa. It was like, no matter what, we just always tell each other everything, like vomiting of words all the time.
I don't think anything bad can come of that.
Yeah. But I think you get into that mindset of like, I don't want to be needy. Should I call them? Should I text them? Like, and I especially going to independent mode, being a single mom, I've like always wanted to be like, I can do this on my own. I'm not going to ask for help. I want him to think that's cool. Like, I'm so strong. But when he was wanting me to be like, babe, I need some help. Can you be the man here? So I think when we overly communicated those things, it was like, oh, that makes sense. Now I can really start to understand who you are and what you need. And so long distance, I would say over communicate and never assume that they're feeling or thinking a certain way until you've talked to them and really got to know them.
Have you guys had any trust issues? Like when you've...
Do we have time for that?
You know,
With your long distance relationship specifically.
this is advice that I would give, since we're talking about trust, is that if you have spies where your person is,
Use them.
use them. I'm dead serious. I was not about to sit there and be a fool. Luckily, my husband was very faithful to me, but I let my friends and family know me and Marcus are now official. So if you see him with any hoes, you let me know.
I also
let me know.
camera in the bathroom.
Yes.
Watched his every
So
move.
yes, I mean, especially since it was the first 2 years, it's still kind of a new relationship, and I knew I was in love with this man, and I knew that you know, I didn't have a way to, you know, I'm not there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, you're attractive, people like you. So yes, I was like, y'all just keep an eye out on him. And if you see anything, just let me know.
See something, say something.
Right, just say something. Do not hold it. I'm not that chick. Now, if I see any of y'all men doing anything, I'm gonna let y'all know. I will take a picture and then I will show.
Thank you.
I'm always gonna give you proof. I'm not just gonna say something. I'm gonna give you proof. But yeah, but when I had that as a reassuring factor of, okay, now I know that there are people who, when they see him, if they see anything, they'll say something. I was able to go, because it is very hard to just, especially when you know that I would think everybody wants affection from the person that they're with. And sometimes that phone conversation is not enough affection. Like, I remember going to the dentist and he rubbed my gum and I had not had someone touch me in so long. I was just like, oh God. Like,
my gosh,
it was so bad. I was just like, I just need somebody to touch me. So, you know, knowing that it's a long distance relationship and the person does not have that, well, they don't have their significant other, not to rub their gums, but to touch,
When in doubt, rub each other's gums.
Rub the gums, oh God.
Hilarious.
You just, you know, I'm not saying that people cannot be faithful, but I can understand how it's easier to stray when it's a long distance relationship. Yeah.
Right.
Colette, did you and Shay kind of did long distance then when he went on his
just for a
mission?
short time
Oh, okay.
when he
When he
was-
came back as a buff, tan,
I was like,
white
who are
tooth
you?
model. Did you have any trust issues with him while he was gone?
Well, I think that's your natural instinct is to be like, oh, are they? Like, what's happening? Like, always nervous about like, oh, should I trust them? I think it's good to go with your gut. Like, honestly, your gut tells you a lot more than you think it does. And I didn't really feel like, because we kind of left it open. Like, if you want to date, you date. All day, whatever, we'll see what happens.
Oh, really?
We kind of
Okay.
left it open.
Okay.
So, but really it wasn't. Like, he didn't want to date any other people, and I didn't really want to date
And he
other
probably
people.
really didn't want you to date anybody else either.
It's just so hard for me because I've always seen Shane. He's always been like so in love with you, so in love with you that I'm always been like, I want a boyfriend to treat me like Shay treats Katilette. Because you can just tell she walks in and Shay's like, that's my wife. She's hot. Like, and he always
Steve
gives.
is totally like that with you.
Steve has gotten really good, but just looking at Shay growing up, I was just always like, oh, he loves her so much.
Oh, you're sweet. Well, he loved me so much because he did actually go out on dates, and I went like on one date, I think, and I didn't even like it. But we were open with each other, like we told each other.
Yeah.
And the one thing that did happen once was, I went to like a church event, and I just went there by myself.
You're so wild.
And I know, it was so crazy. And this kid that had asked me out on a date, who I didn't really like, he came and he sat next to me, and I was like, oh no, I did not want him to sit by me. And so like I kind of sat like this. And later, a girl that actually liked Shay ended up talking to
I know it was.
your mom, and telling her that I was holding his hand. And so it got around to Shay, and so Shay called me. He goes, were you holding, like he just went out and called me. And that was like, to me, that's what you need to do. If you have a question, you go to the person.
Ask them. Like, don't assume like what Carly
Exactly, because he was like scared and nervous and like, what the heck? Like,
Oh, that's
know?
cute. That would have been it right there. You jealous?
That's good.
so yeah, he called me and asked me, and I'm like, heck no. And then of course I was immediately angry at that stupid girl. But that was like, it was a fire lit, and then it was put out quickly because he was willing to actually ask me.
And he trusted that you didn't lie to him too. So
Exactly.
he completely trusted
Do
you.
you guys feel like when you go looking for things, you're going to find something that's going to bother you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because Steve and I used to do that to each other. Kaylee was like, and you guys were in the middle of it so many times. Like, I would go looking through his Twitter, I'd go looking through this, like he'd look through my laptop, like things like that. I think we were in the early stages, and people were like, oh, that's a red flag. He doesn't trust you, don't trust him. And it seemed like we always found these little things that like, that were and I finally said, Steve, if you keep looking for things that I'm doing that are going to bother you, you're going to find it because you're looking for
Absolutely.
it. Like, if I asked Colette, point out one thing I do that bothers you, she'd be like, let me get a paper. You know what I'm saying?
Let's make a
Like, if you're looking for that and you're kind of putting that out in the universe, like, it's really hard to overcome because I came from before Steve and I came from really unhealthy relationships where we were both cheated on, and so trying to get the grips back on trusting is really, really hard, especially when your heart's been broken. So it's easy to say these like love stories, like just trust each other, but if your heart's been broken, it's really hard to trust again.
That's true.
So once I finally was like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't not trust him, and we can't keep fighting like this. Like it's turning me into this like awful monster.
Yeah.
We just learned to like, listen, I like you, you like me, I love you, you love me. We're gonna work on this, and I'm never gonna cheat on you, I'm never gonna cheat on you. I will come to you, I will be honest. And once we finally were like, woke up to that, I stopped looking, he stopped looking, and I feel like everything is so much smoother.
You sort of laid it all out.
I didn't feel like there was like a black cloud over me all the time, like looking for things. I just feel like the sun shines out again, and I can be happy, and I can trust. And if he does do something, brothers will probably beat him up. No, I'm just kidding. If he does do something, I don't feel like it will be my fault anymore, you know? It'll just be like, well, you made that bad choice, but that has nothing to do with me.
At the end of the day, you can't control what he does anyway, so you have to just trust him because you're going to drive yourself crazy by searching, and for anybody out there, you know, you would really drive yourself insane. I've never looked at Michael's phone. I mean, I know all his passwords for everything, but I've never checked his email once.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I trust him completely, and if he was ever going to be unfaithful, you know, which I just don't think he's the type of person that would. He would rather just like go drive a Ferrari than like go hook up with like a hot chick. Like that's his.
That's how I felt about Casey with hunting. I was like, he'd much rather hunt
than go put the effort in to like get another girl. It's a lot. It took a lot for him to get, you know, me, and then for him to try and do that, I just feel like he'd be like, no, I'd rather drive a Ferrari and screw all that. Yeah, but I think you're right though, Carly. If you are looking for something negative, you will find it.
Find it.
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just think letting things bother you, because Steve's in the limelight and his shirt's off and half of most everything he does, because that's his job. And at first that was really hard for me, because I'm like, it's hard for me to respect our intimacy when you're just giving that to the world. Like they get to see you like I mostly get to see you, and that was hard for me, because I'm not really like that.
Yeah.
And it was hard to see him around all these girls who are like half dressed, and then those girls giving him attention.
Well, what does he do?
He's a fitness model.
She's like, he's an up and down.
He's a porn star. He's just a porn star. It's no big deal.
He performs in Thunder from Down Under in Las Vegas.
I should have assumed that you knew that.
Like, wait a minute, why is white people naked? I'm confused.
He's naked, she's naked. It's hard to trust
You're
him.
like, but you know, he's an accountant, but I trust him. I was about to be like, no.
I'm sorry.
We need this guy.
I'm really bad at storytelling. No, he does fitness stuff, so he's constantly, you know. And finally, I was just like, you know what? You really have to. It comes back to just knowing who you are and loving yourself, and that's a hard thing I've had to learn. But once I'm like, if I love myself and, you know, I give him the best and he still chooses another girl, like, that's him, not me.
Exactly.
And, you know, like, you're lost, not mine. So,
exactly.
But that's a harder thing said than done. But I think just learning, just opening yourself back up there and giving the world what you would want, you have to feel good about that. I don't think it's ever bad to love again or trust again, even if your heart's been broken and you've been crushed, because you don't want to live a life of like harboring those things and being afraid all the time, because then you just will be regretful, and I think that's so toxic.
Well, I snoop.
Good girl.
I'm like, love, flowers, whatever. Let me see your cell phone.
Question.
Yes.
Did you have a feeling at like he was doing something wrong and that's what prompted you to snoop, or are you just like, I want to know, was there a 2 a.m. phone call ever that prompted
That don't happen, okay? Phones better not be ringing after 10, or somebody better be dead, or someone will be dead. One of the two. But it's usually a little bit of sometimes boredom, and sometimes it is something. But you know, I don't do it often, and I haven't done it in a while. Like there has been, like one time he was trying to get out of his email a little too quick, and I was like, well, now Mama Angel gonna have to wait and get your phone when you ain't looking and go through your emails. So like little stuff like that. Or one time there was a letter in our house of a chick saying, you know, I want to taste you or something crazy. Ooh. Yes, it was. It was about to go down, and then
wait, a handwritten letter that said,
yes,
I want to taste you?
Honey. Oh, no. See, and I wasn't, like, women used to leave notes on my husband's car when he was at work anyways. Yes, they come hard for that man, honey. Yes. And so that didn't bother me. I was like, well, why are we keeping this note? Are we about to call Tiffany? What is happening? So I called Tiffany to see if this is a real person.
Is this before marriage?
We married. We living in our house we own.
He's in trouble.
And but then it wasn't. It wasn't.
You're like,
it wasn't a letter to him. It was actually a girl who had house sit. She used to be a hostess, and a woman wrote that letter to her. Oh. Yes, and he was like, because I called him at work because I couldn't figure out. I was about to try to pull cell phone records. I was like, did he call this chick, Tiffany? And I called him. He was like, Angel, calm down. He was like, you remember Giovanni told us that story. She must have left it, and I called. Giovanni was like, yes, that was. Oh yeah. He was like, because it does make him nervous when
You're like loading the gun.
Like, yes. And what? Died.
Yes, Giovanni was like, no, yeah, that was. And even my friend Wendell was like, I was there when she told the story. I was like, well, why do we still have it here in the house? What is going on? So usually, I've only maybe snooped like 3 or 4 times in our entire relationship.
And how did you feel about the outcome?
Oh, it always made me feel like once everything has always been explained to logic that made sense, and I looked at rational, which I'm okay with.
Okay.
And now, I'm pretty, like you said, I don't think he has the energy. He's got me, the child, and I know he loves me, and more importantly, he knows it's cheaper to keep me, and he knows how vindictive I am.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would chance it. I don't think he would chance it. If he did, oh well, sucks for you because you're going down.
Right.
Going down.
Going down. Yeah.
So has he ever, any of you, have you ever snooped, and does your significant other get angry when you snoop? Like, does it bother him that you went through and...
It might bother him, but he knows better.
But she's like, but he has no choice.
Right,
So-
get over it.
I think some weird thing happened. Steve's Twitter was left open on my computer because I had let him use it. And so, of course, I looked through the inboxes, and there are a couple things. But it's just so funny because when you don't know the relationship or what, it's easy to get mad. You're like, of course this is a girl. Why should she be messaging him? And then you hear the real story, and you're like, then you don't even need that thought in your head. It's just like planting unhealthy things in your head to go snooping. And so we came to a point where it's like, here's all my passwords, If you ever feel the need, giving someone that your passwords is enough. But I also was like, I don't want to be in that place for the relationship where I have to feel like that. It's almost like a negative positive. And I feel like you should create a win-win situation where you have the computer in a healthy place. I don't think that laptops or computers should ever be behind closed doors and in off-kept, because I feel like you should be able to, Cooper could see what I was doing on the computer, and that's just how I personally feel. I could walk down into the room and I wouldn't be worried about what's Steve looking at. He could keep everything very open. That goes with the cable, that goes with our mailing. I just think that it's the more honest in your relationship, the better. And so after I got out, I'm like, I don't need to look because it's more unhealthy to look and to snoop because you're going looking and it's just planting those negative things in your head. And like I said, you can't live your life trying to think or control people to do certain things. People are going to do what people are going to do. They're destined to choose and to act the way they're going to act. And all you can do is your best. And if that's not enough for somebody, I used to take that personally. Well, I did something wrong, I wasn't enough, but you can't live that way. And so I think with Steve, I've just learned to be like, here are the reins. And I don't think that guys think that's attractive, as well, to feel so all the time. So finally I was just like, you know what? If you're going to do that, you do that because I know what I got going on at home. I know I give you enough of what you need. So if you're going to do that, then that's your choice because I know what I have to offer.
Right. Yeah.
I've
about
snooped
you?
before.
Oh, really?
And guess what? It was really boring. I was like, come on, give me something.
Right.
The most jealous that I get of Casey is during hunting season, and that is really true. We've never really dealt with jealousy.
Yeah.
Just neither of us are really jealous people or competitive. But around hunting season, I'm like, who are you hanging out with? Oh, is he your friend?
More jealous of him spending time with other guys.
Spend time with me.
Yeah.
I've even joked around with Carly before. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to dress up as a deer and prance around the house to get some attention from Casey.
Oh my God, please do that and please make a video.
hysterical.
That is
Like,
so
look at me, look at me.
Dressed up as a deer.
Take me down.
Put a little tail on and shake it for him. Hey, honey.
What is it gonna take? I just need some attention. That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I've
Please
snooped.
do that.
I don't know if Casey knows that, if he's watching. I've snooped. But
I was
it's
honest. After
really
I did it,
boring.
I said, I'm going to be honest. I did this, and I found this and this and this. Can you please explain it? Because I said, I feel like we live in a way that's like, if I did look, you don't have the right to get mad at me because you shouldn't be mad at me for looking through something that, you know what I'm saying? It kind of doesn't make sense to get mad at me. And it was when I was cleaning his apartment that I found certain things, and so it wasn't like I was like, do-do-do, but I was always honest because I don't like liars, cheaters, you know, dishonest. So I was like, I looked, and this is what I found. Can you please explain this before I get mad? Because I don't have a right to get mad until I know.
Okay, so do they snoop your stuff?
Oh, yeah.
If they want.
Oh, okay.
My husband
I'm
don't.
mostly embarrassed if Casey looks through my phone about the text messages that I write to my friends because I'm always like, yeah, you know, just cheesy dumb things. I'm like, yeah, I wrote that. It's like, do you really talk like this?
That is so funny.
Sometimes
There was
it's
actually
hilarious.
a mix-up with our cell phones when Shay switched. He got a new cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
And he was getting all my texts, and I was getting all his texts. Like, it was like we were getting each other's. And it was sort of annoying at first. Like, is this for you or for me? But then we were talking about it. I'm like, isn't that amazing that we don't feel like, oh, shoot.
Right.
He's getting my text. You know, it just felt like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to hear all that whole conversation, but you know what I mean? Like, it was a good feeling to know that we have that kind of relationship where we don't have to worry.
When you guys could switch phones, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one other thing I told Steve that I think is super important, it's like, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say.
I do that all the time. I'm not even pregnant.
You were saying something, and I was like, that's so good.
like,
and then
I'm
I was like,
gonna tell her that.
it's so good, I forgot. Anyway.
My husband doesn't snoop. He doesn't snoop. I think he knows that he took the best years of my life, so I'm not going anywhere. He took me off the market when I was at my peak, and now I'm not appreciating as much as I used to. But I'm also extremely open and honest with him. If anything I've done might seem suspect, I am going to put it like, anytime I talk to any of my male friends, especially like if I talk to an ex-boyfriend or something, I am making it known. I don't want you to discover anything and then it become like, why didn't you tell me that or whatever? But he has access. My husband doesn't do any social media, first of all, because he doesn't want me being like, who's this chick? You know what I'm saying? Because he's dated a lot more than I have. So, and I obviously I don't know all these broads. So I'm gonna be like, who is she? So happy to see you, smiling face and stuff. So he doesn't do social media at all. So no Facebook, no Twitter or anything. So that really helps
kind of
a
nice.
lot.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't have any of those worries at all. So, but yeah, he knows that if he wanted to, he could have my phone. He could have everything because I don't want him to ever think that I would do anything like that to him at all. So yeah, he's not a snooper though, but he could. I'm like, please do it, so you can see how faithful I am, and you can see how true and loyal. Yeah,
True and loyal I am.
That's great.
That's
Do you
great,
think
guys.
that if
Good
like
job.
you're pointing the finger all the time, there's got to be something that you're doing that's creating your own
Right, if you're just
insecurity?
a happy, like you have nothing to hide, like I have nothing to hide
Neither do I.
in my relationship with Michael. Like I've been an angel face.
and she's like, that's not normal, but I have.
I said, in my relationship with Michael.
Let me clarify.
Yeah, and I have nothing to hide. I had a psycho friend, and snooping drove her insane. I mean, like bad. Like, she shouldn't have trusted this guy, and she didn't, and it was a completely dysfunctional relationship. It got to the point where she called me, and at 3 a.m. we were driving to his house, hopping a fence, banging on his door.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She liked that drama. That's why she was there. She was like, "What we
I was
about
like,
to do?"
it doesn't really involve me. But I was there like hiding behind the wall. I was like, what's going on? Is there a girl in there? But no, I mean, it drove her to complete insanity. Right. And I just feel like seeing that and a girlfriend go through that, I'm like, oh God. You know, I mean, he was a bad person. They had a terrible relationship, but they were snooping and it was just bad.
Did anything
and-
top that story?
I mean, they broke up and he was disgusting.
But was there anybody there at 3 a.m.?
Cool. I'm like, yeah,
I'm like, that's what we want to know.
No, but another time with a different girlfriend, this was in high school, and we had like a stakeout mission in front of this guy's house, and we did see his ex-girlfriend's car there. And it was bad. Yeah, she was so sad. It was really crappy.
Well, she was banging on his door in high school, so he lived with his parents.
This was a different This is
Like, wait a second.
two separate
what?
stories. The first psycho, no. He just
Oh,
had
you
an
just
apartment.
like psycho.
Yes,
You
yeah.
just got psycho
I
friends.
apparently, I don't like drama myself, but I certainly hang out with drama queens that have their own problems, and I just live vicariously
It's like
through them.
it's like you're always
I'm
entertained
kidding.
though. Just sit back with the popcorn and watch it
Exactly.
happen.
I'm like, you guys can fight. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just saying. My point is that snooping can just drive you crazy if you let it take over you and you're so obsessed and paranoid. There's probably something wrong with the relationship.
Yeah,
If you feel the
and you
need.
got to know what you got. If you got somebody that's trustworthy, then trust them. If you don't, then get out of there because
Right.
the snooping is not going to make it any better. Just because you catch them, they just going to be better the next time.
Right.
Well, and I
That's
think
true.
sometimes you have those initial feelings for a reason, and usually, like if you are having those feelings over and over and over, it's probably like you said, your gut telling you
Exactly.
something.
Trust your
Which
gut.
can be a hard pill to swallow because you're like, but wait, you like it's almost like you want to be wrong. That's why you snoop to like
Oh, absolutely.
you don't tell them, so you go to look and like maybe, and then you find something, but then you argue it. So it's hard.
I know.
Love is a battlefield.
It is.
Heartache is a heartache.
Love
It
is
is.
a battlefield.
Wait.
I feel you, girl.
All right, you guys.
What happened?
What
You
happened?
haven't heard that song? Oh,
I don't think I might not have heard it the way y'all just sang it. I
Don't understand.
I was on American Idol. I don't know what you are talking about.
Anywho,
Shoot, she insulted our
that's
singing.
it for
don't. No, I didn't. I just said I don't know if I've heard that rendition. Is what I'm saying.
I'll keep my
I have a
singing
terrible
to
voice.
myself.
I'm not like you guys. Okay, you guys, that is it for our show today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we had something helpful to say. That's debatable. We will be back next Thursday at 2. Thanks. Bye.